your heart. We ask that you be present with us and with everyone from wherever they're tuning in the world. And even when listening later, bring a blessing to the people, that we be open to deepening our understanding. I ask that you guide my words and the energy that I am offering and transmitting, so that we can bring enough good today to what we are doing and do it in a sacred way. Aho Tukashira Wopidataka. Aho Matakyasan to all of Aho. All right, so we should be muted, and I need to find. Oh, come on.
What do you need? Tell me.
My cursor has disappeared. I'm trying to operate something here and it won't. Okay.
Yeah, Zoom will do that to you.
Yeah, it's overriding my cursor, so it's in my way.
Try minimizing.
I can't do anything right now. There we go. Okay. All right. So there are there's quite a few new people, and I'm going to introduce or reintroduce myself, and then we'll begin with this first class. So I'm Jeffrey Mark Grutner, and I have had conventional training in engineering and landscape architecture. I've also studied many natural sciences like geology and ecology, and especially astronomy. I've also studied depth psychology and history. I was shamanically initiated when I was 11 years old in a near-death experience. And I came to understand that as a shamanic initiation because the vision that I received, which is the way we describe that, in being in a coma for 3 days and having left my body, I've had this conscious experience of viewing things from the future. First of all, what other people's lives would be like if I left at that point, which supported my decision to stay. But mostly I had this spiritual presence behind me that was guiding me. And what I saw after that were these possibilities of what might happen to the earth and the ways in which that I could help and support in that. And then there was also what we might term a massive soul retrieval in bringing forward information, knowledge, experience, the Akashic, for my long history as a soul with this planet and star system and so on. So those things guided me, but it was difficult as a boy and as a young man. And it wasn't until I met a Dakota medicine man that I was able to really understand what happened. And then I've had many other esoteric teachers since then. And so I've learned different modalities and different ways that support the work that I'm doing now. And I bring all of that understanding together to my ceremonial work. So as a ceremonialist, I'm bringing those things together, and my understanding of the magical dance between earth and sky. And in a lot of ways, this work is that we've undertaken is working with that. And as many of you probably already know, because you've seen some of the other postings or stories, this eclipse was preceded in 2017 by another eclipse, and where those two points crossed, and we had a ceremony for that in Columbia, Missouri, in that path of totality. And since then, I knew that this other big eclipse, also known as the Great American Eclipse, and that crossing point were really significant for a whole variety of reasons. Some of which I didn't really even know then until I traveled to Southern Illinois, to the Shawnee Hills, and where the confluence of the Ohio and the Mississippi come together. And so I discovered a lot of things about how that area truly is a crossroads for our for Turtle Island in many ways. So it's not just the United States, but North America and the native tribes. All of the nations, the European powers, et cetera, there's something there, but it's significant in many ways. And then it took me a long time to find a location to do the ceremony. And when I, through serendipity and synchronicity, came upon Willow Springs, who's already had on the books to do this Awakening Eclipse Music Festival. And we found some like mind, like heart, and shared intentions. And my feeling is that the good energy that the music festival, especially one that has the intention of a high vibe, brings really joy and togetherness and things that can really support this ceremony. Usually we're doing them very quietly, and in that kind of space, which was my initial intention, but Spirit just kept blocking that. And so it's meant to be in this venue with these folks, Robin and Andy Mauser. And so that is where the main ceremony is going to be. But the other thing is, and that's many of you who are joining me this afternoon won't be able to make the trip, because a lot of my folks are here from Minnesota, but there's folks from California, from Canada, from Georgia, from, kind of all four directions, which is sort of cool. And that's awesome. So you can tune in from a distance, and we're going to be learning some of the techniques that I've been working with and developing for 30 years. So I'm going to come back to that in a moment, because I opened it with a prayer, and I want to speak to, is kind of a summary of the intention. What I realized was that we had a number of intentions, and they were pretty elaborate as we traveled. I don't know if I even said that this time, but once I found the place, then it was the guidance to travel the entire length, or as much of it as reasonably possible, of the eclipse path, to do ceremonies along the way. The discoveries were absolutely amazing. There was things that I was guided to, but things that Spirit directed us to. And along the path, we did ceremonies, included pipe ceremony, included asking in a good way that these crystals and stones carry our intention, carry the energy that we're asking for from higher powers. We put those in the ground. And so in many ways, they're already there. The whole journey, all 8,475 miles of it, because we had to go drive out to the North Cape of Prince Edward Island and back to Indiana and Illinois, and then back home, and then home Illinois, all the way to Eagle Pass and then back home again. Because it had to be done in 2 legs. Anyway, the energy is already there. We were in ceremony the entire time. But each time we reinforce that, it just makes it stronger. Now, over the course of these next 3, this today and the next 2, roughly speaking, or the rough outline, I don't know if it's rough, this is the outline. Today, we're going to focus on our own energy systems and how we use our spiritual and metaphysical and physical energies in a way to do what I'm calling earth web weaving. Some people are familiar with the term of grid work, and it's really kind of along those lines. I chose that name a long time ago when I was first using it because it was a little bit different from some of what my teachers were doing. I found more integration, more ways to fold in my opinion. Now, today it's more advanced folks or whatever, but this is the technique that I've used to great effect. So, the second one, I think will be my plan right now is to, because I mentioned the magical dance between earth and sky, and how those things interface, and how the eclipse itself creates this huge opening of energy for us to do some really deep work. Because they are, eclipses are these amazing times when resets can happen, when with intention, old forms can collapse in on each other and then a new one unfold and blossom. And if we don't set an intention, it will happen, but with the state of wherever our archetypal energies are at that moment. The archetypal energies are going on and they're evolving all the time. And it's mostly unconscious. But as we as human beings, as we change our perspective, as we change what our belief systems are around a particular archetype, they evolve, we populate them. And then they have new energy. They have something different for us to draw on. So if we don't do intentions to help direct our energy and direct where we would like things to go, even if we're not there yet, they're going to happen anyway. So this is a powerful time when we can do an intention, and the component where the earth and the Akashic from history, etc., comes in. That'll be the main topic of the next our next teaching next week. How those things work or engaged. And then the final one, I'm going to go more into the cosmic connection. So kind of the natural projection, which means about literally what is the phenomena that's going on. I've described it a little bit here with my just brief thing about the eclipse, but the astrology of it, the other energetics of it. So basically kind of what we're doing is we're starting with, who we are and what we can do from our place, and how we can connect with each other. And then the next will be where these places are on the land and how we can weave our intentions into them. And then finally, how we're connecting the cosmos so that we are we're dancing in that energy then. We're connecting on this conscious level on all these layers and bringing in, really, ultimately, it's the force of love. But let me go back to how there were lots of different elaborations of our intentions as we went along. But what became clear to me was that since we're talking about uh, a, a reset for the United States, because of, the astrological components that are key for the United States, as well as the idea that the path is crossing all of North America. So it's for everybody. But for us in particular, the solar eclipse is basically, that's our Chiron return for those of us in the United States. So we'll talk about that more later, but the wounded healer, we're going to be activating that big time for the whole US. And that means to call forth our medicine and have a different relationship to our wound. So just set that stage a little bit. But what I did to summarize, to put it into something that is clear and understandable, and as a friend and participant who was here last week, he said, I realized when I read that it's like it's coming holographically from the DNA of the original preamble. I was like, you got it. I really worked on that. And, I, to get into it, what was implied or left out, and in a modern version of it, and decided that there was enough good in what I finished up on January 20th. And so that goes like this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all human beings are created equal, and we are a part of the natural world. We are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are the right to a personally sovereign life, the liberty to be exactly who we are, the right to pursue our fulfillment, spiritual development, and happiness in an equitable economic system, in concurrence with our responsibility to all humanity, the life of the planet, and to future generations. So again, I'm wanting to state that into our sacred space here. Yeah, I think I've perhaps covered enough bases. So there's several ways that this work gets amplified. And one is in our own alignments. Like I said, when we get to the earth component and we get to the sky component, there's other kinds of enhancements or amplifications and connections that can take place. But let me begin showing you. The other element here for me in learning the technology is that you have to put up with my old-fashioned way of teaching because I don't have a PowerPoint ready with slides. So I'm going to do the best I can. We'll see how it works. And hopefully we don't have to redo this. But so just give me a second. All right, so I'm going to have to turn my camera for a moment. And actually, I might have to pick it up. So yeah, I hope nobody gets motion sickness. This will be interesting. Okay, I'm not sure that's showing up great.
Okay, we're not seeing the board, we're seeing the table. Oh, no, we are.
Oh,
There you
I'm showing you
go.
right
No,
now.
you want to see the table, right?
Okay, is that visible? This is what is known as a star tetrahedron. Let me back it up. There we go. a little hard to see it here because it is a piece that I wired together. So let me set it back down. And I am gonna use the board, but I'm also gonna show you a smaller version. For people, the term that's commonly used now is the Merkaba. But in sacred geometry, this is called a star tetrahedron. These are two interlaced tetrahedra where one is pointing up and the other is pointing down. And it represents the Merkaba, which is actually an energetic field that allows transmission of energy across dimensions. And I'm going to keep the explanation that simple for now, because what I want to focus on, I wanted to show you that, because even though we're not going to be able to learn how to do the Merkaba, that takes the ability to create on the etheric those tetrahedra with our own energy, can then counter rotate them, the upper one and the lower one, and allows great embodiment and manifestation. It is, a way for spirit to move down through these dimensions. And like I said, I'm not going to go into great detail about it, but just know that its presence here and our awareness of that it's kind of a root or seed of the whole flower of life, sacred geometry, etc. And embedded in that and in the altar are the golden mean ratio. I may go into that a little bit more, but first thing I want to talk about is, in here, we'll try to use the board, make this work. Oh, actually, no, I'm going to do it this way. Have this cool thing that is, it's a toroid. The shape is called a toroid, torus, otherwise known as TORUS, and it rotates, or it rather folds in and out of itself just the way an electromagnetic field functions. And this one happens to be painted with the golden mean spiral on it. And the interesting thing is that in a field like this, that golden thread, if you trace it all the way around, this spiral that goes all the way around the field, it is the only shape that allows all these 7 colors to touch one another. So these are the colors of our chakras, of the rainbow, etc. And that's the only shape that allows you to do that. So some of this I'm just going to, rather than get super technical, to let you absorb intuitively. The golden mean ratio, I will say something more about that. Many of you probably know this, but some of you may not. It might be brand new information. The golden mean ratio, which is phi, has these kind of, they're almost magical in their way as to their mathematical properties. And 1.6128 is roughly, to a few decimal points to 1, is the golden mean ratio. And it's this natural thing that also, I'm just going to, I'm not going to be super rigorous because we're not here for that today. But this ratio allows it also allows the transmission of information across dimensions to be reinforced rather than diminished. It allows an opening between them. And the reason it does that is because it is the signature of love in the universe, at least as human beings perceive it. And one of the ways that we know that's true is because when we embody the feeling of love, the frequency of our heart and the frequency of our brain are in the low phi, or the phi ratio, the golden mean ratio. And so that means that when we are experiencing love in our being, that feeling that's like really love, not infatuation, although it may have love in it, but real love of the universe, our heart and our mind become one in this ratio. So that's one of the ways that we create more alignment. And to take that a little bit further, now I'm going to try to use this board here, folks. And I have to apologize for the art, which is not art, but we'll try to make it work. So let's say here's our brain, and kind of, sort of. Anyway, and then we have the various elements of the brain. Again, it's not going to be perfectly accurate. Hopefully you can hear me. But we know this to be the brain stem, the part of the limbic system, or we could refer to it as the reptilian or old brain that developed longest ago. Then there is the old mammalian. Then there is the neocortex, which are the two hemispheres of the brain, as we most commonly refer to. And then the prefrontal lobe, or the prefrontal cortex, the latest thing to evolve in our brain. I don't know if that's even visible. Maybe I need to darken that. And the other thing I'm going to draw on here is that if we have a person, I think I'm just going to draw a stick figure. We all know that the brain is electromagnetic. So it has an electromagnetic field like this. And again, a lot of people may know this, but your heart has an electromagnetic field. And it, in fact, is the organizing principle of your whole organism. The field of the heart is actually 60 times stronger than that of the brain. The brain is the central processor, but in a way, it's the heart that is organizing it. And so this electromagnetic heart field stretches out around us pretty strong, out to 4 to 5 feet, and with somewhat diminishing amplitude all the way out to 9 feet. So when we are in a state where I first talked about universal love, and then the field of the brain comes into the love frequency ratio. And yeah, this is all backwards, but okay. Um, and that's part of our natural ability. I mean, I started to draw the brain in this kind of a weird way, but I'm going to use this in a minute because I want to focus on the fact that you've got this amazing heart field. We all have this amazing heart field. And when we can get our brain in sync with it and trained and what we call coherent, those states mean that these are operating in like a laser-like fashion. So we know that in many spiritual traditions, we talk about one heart, one mind. And when we do that, and this is one of the reasons I start a lot of my ceremonies with gratitude. If you're genuinely feeling gratitude, this happens. They link up within yourself. You have one heart, one mind, and automatically your intuition goes up, your own stability, everything increases and is enhanced in a powerful way. All this information, by the way, I learned back in '91 because of a very synchronistic meeting with the people of Heart Math Institute. So this has been around a while, this information, and they have truly developed it. Many techniques, ways to engage so that we can be in more coherence. When they're not coherent, other emotions can cause, chaos and dissonance between these. So the more coherent we can become, which is why staying in a state of gratitude is so powerful. So the more you can cultivate that and then just recognize the state. So the more you're coming into and you're amplifying your energy, you become more of a conduit of love that you can bring out into the world. Now, what else has an electromagnetic field? Mother Earth. Okay. Has a pretty powerful electromagnetic field. And when we can align with the Earth's electromagnetic field and we create coherence and entrainment with the Earth's magnetic field, something really powerful happens. And we shift, when we have that resonance, when our brain is in a brain wave that is resonant with the Earth, because that's where we can measure it most easily, is in the brain wave. Now we have available to us this really expansive, powerful, co-creative, coherent electromagnetic field. When we take it a step further in the whole process, but this is part of what I'm going to be describing to you, because we will go then to the sun, and its electromagnetic field, it's going to operate a little bit differently here, but the point is that we take ourselves from the heart of the earth to our own heart, and with our own coherence to the heart of the sun, and then to the heart of the cosmos or to the heart of God. But with the way that you can get into that space and what the earth resonance is, it has a natural resonance, and some people have heard of this too, which is the Schumann resonance. I know I'm throwing a lot of technical data here. We're going to do this technique in a minute. You're going to find out that it's easy because it's part of who you are. But that is, and this is a function of, purely a function of the physics of the planet. 7.8 hertz. Man, Tom, we got Heyoka's here too, because I'm drawing and it's all backwards. When our brain waves are resonant at 7.83 hertz, we're in the alpha state, a very steady, creative and expansive alpha state. When we are in full-on creativity, we feel expansive, we feel positive. It's likely that we're in the alpha state. When you're doing other kinds of work, computing things and natural, everyday other things, you're in, more in the beta wave length. And when we're sleeping, it's low alpha and delta theta. But beta, alpha wavelength is the natural wavelength for the Earth. And that's because the Earth is roughly 25,000 miles in circumference. And if the wavefront of a beam of light is sent out and it travels around the Earth, and then the wave peak comes back to the same point, it has traveled that 25,000 miles. So the wavelength is 25,000 miles long. That's 7.83 hertz. Now, somebody asked me last week, well, what about 432? Because there's a whole ton of this stuff. When I first learned it 30 years ago, you had to learn it, I won't say the hard way, but you had to learn it in more direct ways. So much of this information is available on the internet. There's just tons and tons of it. And the challenge I see is that not everybody digs deeper to really understand it. 432 hertz is an audible sound. It's the 55th harmonic of 7.83. So, and they might have chosen that because, some of I noticed a couple of musician friends, they know that the fifth harmonics is in that phi ratio. It's in that golden mean ratio. And sometimes those alone, the pentatonic scale, can produce these feelings of really being aligned, really feeling good. So when we can get ourselves to resonate with the Earth frequency, which I usually do with some background music that is designed to help us induce with that. But I've learned that Zoom doesn't support a background music. At least I haven't figured out how to do that well yet. And we may be able to do that, but what we're going to do is I'm going to talk everyone through a meditation process. Let's get all of this on the way. And this meditation process is going to be, it starts with grounding to the earth, centering in the heart, and presencing by calling all of your energy back to yourself and sending away energy that doesn't belong with you at this time or is not needed for this purpose, or many times literally belongs with someone else, because we're engaging in other people's energy all the time. It's sort of natural. But the more we develop our own awareness of our own energy field and, who we are as a soul, embodied, positioned in the heart, the more clear our boundaries between other people's becomes, the more sovereign we become, the more clear our perceptions become, and the more clear our purpose in life is. So it is truly a process of developing our own body-soul integration and getting really clear about our own identity and uniqueness, and being able to work with people. This is a whole class that I teach, a series of classes. I'm just going to give you the basic here, but I teach many elements of this and how you can work. Just as I couldn't find a good term for it because my original teacher called it psychic development. And there's a lot of programs out there, lots of different ways that people are doing it, which is awesome. And I've developed some other things since then and decided to just kind of differentiate it from that. The class is called the Handbook of Body Soul Integration, or the Handbook of Your Energy Field. There's a lot of great teachers out there besides me, but I provide a lot of practical, everyday circumstances that people found to be really valuable. But for today, we're going to do that. And the grounding that I'm going to talk you through, one of the things that I do is we're going to go down through the layers of the earth, kind of in our mind's eye, going down through the layers of the earth with our energy. The reason I do that is because if you actually give a little bit of attention to your local space right here, and you go down through the surface elements, and down through the crust, and down through the first molten layer, and then through the mantle, second molten layer, into the core. As we do that, we're giving it a little bit of attention instead of just racing to the core, because when we do that, we're engaging what we call the near physical etheric. Our physical bodies are the earth. And when we, excuse me, when we pay attention to some of those things, we don't have to consciously know it all. I mean, all this stuff is in my head, and at this point, I can see and tune into those energies. You don't have to be that refined. You're going to naturally tune into earth frequencies that resonate with you at this time, and they could be anywhere in those layers. In fact, it is said that you don't necessarily always want to pull up earth core energy. You might want to be grounded to the earth core, but bringing up earth core energy is really powerful, creative energy. It's very present at birth, for example, and other times. But my guess is that most of you have had some practice in these things, and so it's okay for you to do the methods that you know well. Don't try to fight it because I'm guiding you in a different way. The next element will be to, once we go to the core, say hello to Mother Earth, then we're going to ask that energy come up and support our body, and go to, healing places, or places where it can heal. And then we're going to open the head crown center. We're going to call down more of our own soul light down through the chakras and into the heart. And in each case, I'll just prompt you to allow the wisdom, for the earth energy, allow the wisdom of your first chakra to distribute it through your body and the rest of your forms, rest of your bodies. And the soul light, when it's in the soul, to allow the wisdom of when it's in the heart, allow the wisdom of the heart chakra to distribute it through the rest of your being. And once we've done that, we have created this body-soul alignment. And then I'm going to prompt you to find a state of gratitude or universal love or whatever. But anything that helps you to actually feel gratitude. And then your heart and mind come into that coherence I was referring to, comes into an entrainment. So now you've already kind of automatically connected, and then when we connect to the earth, we're just going to intend, because we don't have other supports like the music and other things, that we begin resonating in this alpha state. But I will further prompt you once we've gained that point and we've moved others' energies off, recalled some of our own energies where we may have left them, and we're fully present and grounded, then we will kind of extend ourselves to our local environment, the earth environment. Let's see, I don't know, we should go ahead and let me see. Maybe we'll go that far, or maybe I'll actually have, because I lose track of time, and a lot of times I lose track of time, so I want to stay within a reasonable time frame. Once we get that state and we're settled in that state, typically what we do from there in terms of the ceremony is that we're all sitting in a circle, and therefore our heart fields are connected to the person next to us. Those electromagnetic heart fields are connected to us. And then if one person, every person that is working on their state of gratitude and their coherence, their resonance, we support each other then. And then it becomes one big field, a generator, if you will. From that place, we can then form our intention in our mind without going too much into the mind, but knowing that we're holding this intention. And in fact, if you just hold the intentions of that, universal love and peace, but that encapsulation that I wrote, if that serves you well, just holding that in mind, then we're going to go, I'll prompt you to allow your consciousness to take you to a place that is sacred to you. And because you're linked up in all these ways, it's going to happen. And once we start that earth web weaving, and that could be as simple as, I don't know, your backyard, your own altar space. It could be some other sacred place that's special to you, because that makes it easier for you to get there. And the unique ones, you can go to the big ones if you'd like, but it's actually a little bit better if you start out with something that's personal and smaller than, because there's the energies of Sedona, for example, are so huge. But you can then connect into these different places, and then you have actually done the process. You have brought your consciousness through all these layers of alignment. You brought your intention of love and brought it not just through your spirit, but through your energy body, through your physical body, into the physical plane of the earth. And you're creating this weaving. You're weaving that web. And ultimately, what we're going to do is to connect to the 22 locations that have the stones that are holding the energy for us, this energy of transformation, of renewal for the land, humans' relationship to the land, our relations to each other, etc. But that's the process. I should find out. I don't know if we should just go ahead and go through it. I don't know, because I can't follow chat or anything like that. If anybody had any questions that are important, Hope, what do you see?
Yeah, there isn't a question, and also we have a comment that it's not backwards to us.
Oh,
The way you see it on Zoom looks backwards, and I can testify as the host that I've seen things backwards too, and it's trippy, but what we see here is not backwards.
oh, okay.
Stands out to us.
Well,
Just,
it's just that the Heyokas are on top of me then. So I'm the one who is.
but it's a function of Zoom. We don't know why. But anyway, yeah, we're good. Everything is good here. No comment. So some
Okay,
people have had to leave, but they'll catch the recording. So that's the other thing on chat. Yeah.
okay,
And they have
well,
another meeting in 5 minutes and they'll catch the replay. All right. There we go.
okay, great. Um, what is that? I have a couple people here because we're going to try to make this circle PHI. What? Phi. Yeah, did I write that wrong or something?
You didn't write it.
The phi. Yeah, the symbol of phi
Mhm.
is the Greek letter PHI. And again, I think some people know about this, but PHI, the phi ratio, that's what I've been saying, if that was confusing to anybody. So why don't we begin? Oh, I know something I left out. When I said, well, when we're in a circle, when we're in physical presence with each other, a whole other level kicks in. And I wasn't sure it was actually going to work from a distance. But what I found, I tried this actually many years ago. I tried this 10 years ago. And with technological connection, I had the sense always that it worked because we're connected to the earth, to the earth's magnetic field. And we know that intentions across long distances, when we're connected to somebody, it goes there. And when we become resonant on all of these levels, we become one with Mother Earth. When we go make the additional connections after we learn the technique with the intelligence of nature, etc., then it goes to an even more amplified level. But just know that if you're doing the technique as well as you can, and you're feeling this state that we are all connecting across the earth field because we've asked for Mother Earth to support this and to support us. So it can happen even if you're not technologically connected. And the other thing I would say is that maybe for a few of you, this is a lot of technical information all at once. I promise you the technique, actually, when I talk you through, it's not that difficult. But an important thing to know is that there's other layers. Like I had that image of the brain because I was getting ahead of myself. There's other ways to get the brain itself in a state of a high level of coherence. And then we begin to realize our full potential as a quantum computer, where our connection to the cosmos, again, it just goes up orders of magnitude. But that's another story. The point I wanted to make is that just show up with your whole being and have peace and love in your heart. And then, with pure intention, you'll be doing it because that's part of how we're human, how we're these spiritual beings having the human experience. So, sitting comfortably in wherever you may be, and you can just kind of notice any tensions on your body, and just kind of flex your hands, your arms, legs, feet. Just kind of let yourself Be consciously aware for a minute. And just let those go with some sighs, with some breaths, deep breaths. Ah. 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 And if it feels right to you, I'm going to add a chant of 3 ohms at this time. And so you can do it, for yourself or just go along. The idea is by toning this primordial seed sound, then we start to become in resonance even before we begin. Oh. Deep breath. Bring your attention to the base of the spine and your first chakra. And send a grounding cord. Just imagine a cord of light descending from your spine down through the chair, floor of the room you're in, or the ground if you are lucky enough to be outside. And bring it all the way down through the building and into the material below that, the soils, rocks and gravels, and allow that cord to descend deeper and faster with each breath till you reach bedrock, passing through the bedrock and the granite layer and all the way through the crust of the earth and down through the first molten layer, just taking note of these energies as you descend and move past them, and down through the mantle, through the various levels, stages of crystalline forms and discontinuities, different densities, mineral composition. Move deeper and faster with each breath until you reach the second molten layer, and moving down past this to the core of the earth. And let your grounding cord hook into the core of the earth. And you can ask Mother Earth to receive your hello as you greet her, saying hello to the earth being. Silently to yourself, or even say it out loud if you hello, Mother Earth. And now, from some level that you simply intend above the core, that is appropriate for you at this time that you're doing this work, somewhere beneath the first molten layer, or beneath the crust of the earth and the core, call on the earth energy that is just the right frequency for you to rise up and to flow not only into your first chakra, but also open the chakras in the bottoms of your feet and allow that energy to flow up into the bottoms of your feet, through the ankles, remembering to continue to breathe. And up through the calves and the backs of the knees chakras, around your knees, inner and outer thighs, and into the pelvic area in your first chakra. And allow this flow of energy from Mother Earth to fill and refresh your first chakra. And ask that the wisdom of the first chakra distribute it all throughout your physical being and all of your other subtle bodies. And bring your attention to the head crown center, opening your head crown as wide as is sufficient for today, for your purposes, and call down more of your own soul light. If you know the Antakarana, or those chakras that exist above and outside the body, otherwise just call on your own soul light down through the head crown, filling your crown with your own energy. And the third eye, sixth chakra, allowing it to be full and open. And throat chakra, bring it all the way down into your heart, for the soul to come into the home for the soul in your heart. And you might even begin to imagine breathing directly into your heart to keep your focus and attention there, and your energy, your light centered in the heart chakra. Allow the wisdom of the heart chakra to distribute your soul light all throughout your other subtle bodies and your physical body. Feel and see it wash through your aura, your physical body. And now that you are grounded and more present and centered into your heart, you can send away anyone else's energies or other energies that don't belong with you on this day, at this time, for this purpose. Just gently say no thank you, goodbye, send them away. Some, like those that may belong to a child that you are in care of, you're not sending it away permanently. You're only differentiating. And then recall any energy that you might have left. Just intend that, call it back to you. And so now that you feel those energies centering and coming together through your heart, with your body settled with the earth, just start to generate that feeling of gratitude in whatever way you can. It may be simple as you're still alive. Gratitude for your friends and your family. Gratitude for the beauty of experiences that you've had. Gratitude for your gifts from the Creator. Your gifts from Mother Earth. Your gifts from Father Son. That energy that gives us life force. And as you begin to do this and feeling that gratitude, you can just take note of how your heart and your mind are beginning to come into sync with each other. Or if you would choose, more of a state of universal love. Even if you start with a personal love, like the love of a baby, and then bring it to a more universal state because you feel so good that you can give love to anyone and everyone and to the whole planet. And now, as you are in this more aligned and enhanced state, and you're especially connecting with or tuning into the baseline frequency of Mother Earth, knowing that is a state of feeling expansive and creative, and a state of joy and contentment for being alive, and being aware then that you are a part of the earth. You can extend your awareness to your surroundings, to the natural world around you, outside of you, if you are in a building, or even your own house plants and other living and sentient beings. Keep breathing into it. And if you would like, you can also breathe with intention in from the back of the neck and into the base of your brain and up through the other layers. And as you begin to experience this, you can connect again briefly from your heart to the heart of the earth. And you can reach out first to one another. Even though we may not be able to see all the participants, we can intend that we're connecting to each other. And if there's anyone else in the room with you, that your heart fields are beginning to resonate and you are connecting with them. You're allowing your consciousness to connect through the field of the earth and all of the life force energy around you to connect to each other. And imagine that all of that is being focused into one large, connected, resonant electromagnetic field. With your spiritual essence presence, being a channel, a hollow reed, as is sometimes said, for love and light and peace, that deep down in your body and soul peace, which is not the same as the word we use for the absence of conflict, but a peace that is profound and ineffable, a peace that comes from the Creator. It's Creator, Him, herself, the Supreme, the Great Mystery. Have deep peace, peace with yourself, peace with each other, peace with the earth, peace with and from God, Goddess. And now from this state of heightened being, we're going to begin this web weaving process. As we feel the connection from the heart of the earth to our hearts, we're going to reach out now to the heart of the sun. Just that we're connecting into that life force energy. And then we're coming back, bringing those energies together once again to our heart field, our hearts that are connected to others in our meditation and ceremony today. Those in the room. These don't only have to be two-leggeds, by the way. Sometimes our four-leggeds are really good at this. Sometimes when you get into this state, they're going to crawl up in your lap or come sit at your feet. But from this place now, just intend from your own energy, from this stability and safety, from this interconnectedness with each other and to the earth, to the heart of the Creator. Let your consciousness just allow it to bring you to some place that is sacred to you. A personal altar, a place on a hill, a shoreline, wherever that may be, and just allow this energy, allow yourself to be carried to that place. And as you find yourself in that place, intend that you are actually there, that you are looking around and you're noticing the sights. Maybe there's a little breeze and it's cool coming off the lake. And the rock that you sit on has been warmed a little bit by the sun, and you see flowers poking up around you. And there's a wonderful scent drifting in, whatever allows you to notice being in this space. And you can ask now, even though you've already found yourself there, we always ask for permission, if this is a sacred place, for the guardians, for the spirits of this place, for permission to enter it. And we make offerings to this sacred place, even if it is of your own design. You make that offering that comes directly from your heart and soul. And if you'd like, you can visualize a bit of tobacco or cornmeal or a flower that represents your love and appreciation. And your handshake over to the other side, that connection, to make your offering of gratitude. And again, if you'd like, you can ask that if this sacred space has any message for you, just allow that to come to you. You can hear it, see it, know it, or it can arrive to you at some other time. Or perhaps the message is that simply you find yourself in its beauty. And when you're ready, you say thank you to this place, and just allow your consciousness to take you to another sacred place. It can be one that you have formulated and intended in your mind, or you can just let your consciousness take you there and be surprised. And now repeat the process. You're asking permission to enter this space as your spiritual energy has arrived. And you're going to greet. One of the places I find myself has more rocks and trees and a bright sun, a brisk, cool breeze, water that is glittering diamonds on it, reflecting the sunlight, scent of balsam. Those are those pictures for me. And so I say, Wopila, thank you. And I ask your permission to bring my energy here in a good way. I bring my peace, I bring my love, and I bring my intention to bring more of this into our beloved planet and for humanity, for all our relatives, the four-leggeds and the winged ones, standing ones, the ones that creep and the ones that crawl, and the star nations. To all of our relatives, to the whole universe. And now from this place, come back into presence in your own space for a moment. So you have created a triangle. And you've left a spirit trace behind you in that triangle. It is stable, it is strong. As you breathe, you can breathe more pranic energy or just the feeling that you're lighting it up with gold white light. The light of the Creator, this light of peace, of love, of gratitude. And so you've created even more stability. And as we breathe into this space and this generator together, we're creating a stronger and stronger amplitude. And we've asked now for the support of those energetic spaces and of the consciousness of nature and all of these elements support our work to evolve ourselves as individuals and collectively to take on our responsibilities. To all of humanity, the life of the planet, and to future generations, so that we, with humble and sincere hearts, may be worthy of the truths that we declare and the rights that we declare. And from here, we can extend ourselves. For today, we're going to extend ourselves to the center of the eclipse path. And later, we will stretch it out to the other localities. But for today, allow your energy, your consciousness to go first to the crossing point, because I found with precision where the two center lines of the eclipse paths of 2017 and 2024 cross. And there are some large crystals that were willing to hold this intention and this energy. And these stones that were asked to bring forth the golden truth of the Creator, the guardian of the sword of gold, of the flame of truth, known in some circles as an angel, in other circles it is a other form of energy, but it is, we ask and invoke it, the divine truth be brought into our land, into our minds and our hearts, and into this new beginning that we are asking for, that we are throwing our seeds of intention into for the future of the United States, for all of humanity in the world. And then also nearby in the landscape, a crystal that is part of the family of these crystals resides at Willow Springs Campground. Really the home of Robin and Andy, but in their graciousness, they open it up for these celebrations. And so we ask, energetically, we ask their permission to enter their space and to connect with these stones, which will be doing their service in linking us up to the whole eclipse path. Even though in meditation, I should mention they're not going to have to carry the whole weight of this prayer. It's just a touch point. So that's a lot to carry. But there's a touch point there on the land. And so bring your positive energy into this field that you have just created, that we have woven together, from our own individual spaces and our collective spaces. And you can breathe a little more light into that and intend that it remains strengthened and resonant. And when you are complete, bring your consciousness fully back into the room and into your own space, acknowledging silently and through spirit presence of each and every person here and the spiritual guides and guardians of this work. Thank Mother Earth, those guides and guardians of the sacred sites and the mysteries that we are only beginning, like little children, to understand. When you're ready, you can come out. Okay. We still have people here.
Oh, I'm sure we do.
All
That was powerful.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah. And once you feel like you've landed a little bit, if you have any comments or questions, it does bring us into a pretty significant state, an expanded state. It's a light wakened trance like state. It's we're not leaving our consciousness behind, and that's part of what's powerful about getting into that alpha wave, brainwave frequency, because you're just more expanded, not leaving your body or your presence with others. Anyhow, does anybody have any comments? Because I'm just sitting here in the room, and besides Hope, I can't hear anybody. You can unmute yourself if you want.
Or you could put comments into the chat if you're shy, but we prefer you talk.
Yeah, you can comment. Okay, I see that we have 12 people. That's great. We still have 12 people here.
Hi. I had an interesting experience that I thought I'd ask if you've experienced this before, but after we went to the first sacred space, and then you said to go to a second one and just allow yourself to be carried there if you like. Actually went to the star Sirius, which which I was not expecting. Because it felt more like we were connecting to the earth, but that energy, that triangle did feel really good.
Well, that has happened. I've worked with people for many, many years. And yeah, some people find themselves in star systems that they're connected to, you know, because it may be part of our own soul history in various ways. And the star Sirius, as you probably well know, is a close companion star to our own. And there's lots of other things, but that's cool that you did that, and it's not that unusual. When we're connecting, we were connecting with the earth, but when we also, and I didn't go into a lot of this other detail, when we connect to the heart of the earth, we're connecting to that whole energy grid system of the earth. When we connect to the heart of the sun, because the earth relates to the sun and we connect to the heart of the sun, now you've got this nexus point to the rest of the cosmos. And usually I don't bring people out that far because it's not suitable for everyone or every circumstance. And most of the time, yes, we're trying to weave those higher vibrations in right here on the planet. But that's very interesting. And I haven't got gallery view, so I don't know who that was.
It's Wendy. It's Wendy.
Wendy. Okay. Great. Okay. Does anybody else have an experience they wanted to share?
And I want to ask, is it okay to leave it on the recording? Otherwise, I'll turn off recording.
No,
I mean,
you
I'd
can
like
put it
to
on
hear your
recording.
Huh?
There's something put on recording for now.
Yeah, because I'd like to keep your comments as well. So
Yeah,
just information
absolutely.
for people. Okay. Right.
Did it work for everybody? No, there's a lot of silence out there. So much easier when we're in the room. Okay.
I guess I can say something. Can you hear me? Hi, I'm Echo.
Yeah, go.
So, I definitely felt the strength of everybody connecting the way, like I felt like just almost like like I don't know if it was like just the moment where it felt like instead of just like my sphere doing this, it was like all of us like this, like, and then the earth, as we did that, like I felt like it just expanded bigger. You talked about going to sacred places, and so at first I've got this place in my mind that's not a place I've been yet. So instantly I just there with gratitude, and I just like my heart, it just kind of filled up with this gratitude for all these people are having these special moments in these special places, holding this, all of you guys holding this gratitude and this connection. It was just kind of like I just kept hearing like as if the earth was hugging me,
Yes.
Like a comforting, nurturing hug. Like if you ever laid on the ground and it felt like you're being hugged by the earth, it was like that amount of support. And then the sun, the way it was like we're plants, like you can feel the heat and it just like absorbing in. And I'm grateful to be a part of this. And Rob and I were working together to to really hold focus
because I can't meditate very well. So Robin can't get her brain done yet.
but
I'm learning.
But doing it together, it's easier to do it with a collective and to feel that love and support in so many people around the world. Even I think there was someone who said they were in Scotland or can't remember, but that's just beautiful. And yeah, that's what I experienced. I did get to go to I went to the Amazon for a minute. I thought it was Africa at first, and it was really exciting. But something that was unique is that I was looking around because you said look around, and I saw these big plants, and then I saw these big ants, big bullet ants, and I'm gonna dig into bullet ants and what that means to me when we're done, because it was such a beautiful experience. But yeah.
Yes, and what I may do with this recording will be available. And I'm going to continue to work on getting better with the technology. Next week we'll be on time and hopefully people won't have to leave. But the idea is to keep practicing this process, and frankly, to keep lighting up that, oh, one of the things I didn't mention, the reason I call it a star dragon, somebody said, oh, you're bringing in the star systems of Draco. And I'm like, no, that's not exactly it. And yes, it is the year of the dragon, but in Chinese feng shui, or the feng shui on the land, they look for the dragon in the landscape, where the energy currents are in the landscape. And one of the other pieces, this is more next week, but that there's not just what we commonly refer to as ley lines, or we feel as certain kinds of energetic sacred sites. There's many others, just as we have a nervous system and a meridial system and circulatory system, so does the earth. There are all these different layers, from the etheric down to these other, they're all some frequency of the etheric, I'll just put it that way. They're spiritual energies that correspond and come out through the physical plane. Anyway, it's the dragon in the landscape, and it is, in a sense, whether or not it's permanent or not, I don't know. It is for sure been laid out for us to activate with this total eclipse. So next week we'll talk more about that, about how all of these things become integrated, but it's this central practice that you can carry with you anywhere. Because even if it's just you yourself, like you said, the earth just envelops you, hugs you. And it's in part because we have forgotten one of the most important things in our Western culture is to give gratitude. If any gift we might have from Mother Earth, it came from Mother Earth in the first place, except for the love and the heart and the energy that we give it. And gratitude is number one. Sacred sites, we were meant to visit them, to pray, maybe to receive guidance, but to do ceremony there, to give gratitude, because now you're feeding your energy back into the earth. Our Western culture has been so focused on taking, and we know all about the extractive physical taking without saying thank you. It's creating big holes in the spirit world. But when we take anything, we need to be able to say thank you. And that might sound like a trivial thing, but as we've just seen, when you're in that energy, you're channeling the energy of the Creator. You're channeling love into it. And that feeds right into Mother Earth, and it feeds into all our life. So yeah, it's that's a beautiful, powerful thing. I'm looking at our time, and I know we've been going for quite a while, and I'm very grateful for everybody who showed up. We'll receive a recording. And as I said, I may just do one where it's just meditation straight through, although that wasn't bad, so that you can practice it. And I'll try to do one that has the sound behind it, because that can enhance it as well. Yeah, once you know this, a lot of things start to activate. And just going through that process starts to create that body soul integration and those effects that I mentioned. You start getting clearer. Your boundaries get clearer, your senses get clearer. It's a powerful thing. So anyway, since this was created as a ceremony, we will end it as a ceremony. And since I just talked all about gratitude, I'm just going to say thank you in every language that you can think of, in every way from your heart. Wolpida Tanka. That's a Dakota language, by the way, because there's people from all over the world. Wolpida Tanka. With this great thank you and this power of peace, with humility, with humble and sincere hearts, we say thank you to all of those guardian spirits, to the council of this work, for all of your own higher selves, energies, your own guardians and guides, and your own relationship to the Creator. Wopida, we say thank you. And we ask that this work continue and that we are able to deepen our understanding and to keep reinforcing this intention for a better life on our planet, for a better future, for the vision of so many possibilities. Om Takiwasam to all my relations. Amen. Blessed be. All right. Thank you very much. If we will hopefully see you all next week. And yeah, thank you. And